Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Jennifer Passavant. I'm an intuitive spiritual life coach, energy healing practitioner, and channeler of divine beings.
Hi, I'm Kathleen Sherman, shamanic medical intuitive, Reiki master, and psychic medium. Today we're coming on with Adam Wcislek and Debbie Marcum. They are part of a paranormal team and friends of mine, friends of ours. And we're going to come on and talk about, they're both mediums, they're both paranormal team investigators, some really fun stuff, and want to bring them on to talk about what they do and have a little collective chat, because that just sounds like a lot of fun to me.
Which we do every week, so.
Yes. Adam, do you want to go first?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, yeah, okay. Yeah. Hi. Yep, Adam. So I go by the Black Swamp Medium, and it's because it's easier than saying my last name, and you guys all know that, and so it's easier to have a little bit of a catch name because people can spell that faster than my last name. So I go with the Black Swamp Medium because it's also relevant to where I live, which was a part of the big great Black Swamp. So. Not anymore, of course, but even though maybe I felt like I came out of the swamp, you never know. But yeah, so I know, yeah, I'm a psychic medium. I do interesting forms of tarot. I do paranormal research. I do remote viewing. Belong to a team called Spirit World Paranormal Investigations. We're mostly southeastern Michigan, but a lot of us are kind of all over the map of Michigan. But we host investigations at the Old Mill Museum in Dearborn, Michigan. And gosh, that's probably the shortened version of that. So that works for me. Debbie?
Yeah. Debbie is not quite so long-winded tonight. So I am an evidential medium, which means I search for the missing. I work with police and I bring them evidence to be able to hopefully find the missing person. And I also am a grief minister, and I marry people sometimes, like my children. I've married them off. Threatened to do it in their sleep a couple times. Yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Although I do belong to SWIPY as well. We both are paranormal investigators. I really am not. I call myself that, but I'm really not.
She's our usually our mode of transportation because she's got the big RV.
Yes.
So we just use her vehicle to travel us around.
I see.
Meanwhile, trying to kill certain people on certain trips.
Yeah, well, that won't happen again.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. But yeah, I mean, it's been quite a life. I was pulled into the paranormal by people who thought, ooh, medium, you're a medium, you need to be in the paranormal. And I don't mind going, but I'm such a chicken. It's hard for me to take it seriously because I'm so scared and everybody is laughing. So I've kind of pretty much backed out of that scenario. I try to keep a low profile. When I'm with other people who are investigating, I don't go because I can't go. I can't.
It's okay.
Okay.
We don't drag you through, so I mean that works out because
Right.
we're nice. I mean, yeah, we'll laugh and chuckle at her expense and stuff, but at the same time, we're not mean about things either.
Yes,
so.
you are. Yes, you're mean.
No, we're not. We just have fun.
Oh, you know what? And we forgot to tell them the most amazing thing is that we are hosts of Beyond the Silence Radio.
Yes.
Oh my
That's
God.
true.
You've been on our show.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
So-
I'm sorry I didn't say that.
No, it's not. Don't worry about it. I forgot to. Don't worry.
You guys
When there's
did a
so many
really cool-
things going on. Yeah.
You guys do a lot. I know. My dogs were barking. I'm like, I had to go and be like, try that. But you guys did a really cool talk last week, or was that last week, about crystals?
Yes. Yep.
Talking about crystals. So you guys
Mhm.
cover a lot of different subjects, it looks like. And then sometimes you do readings on your show. What else do you
Yeah.
do on your show?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of topic stuff. We bring
Right.
guests on, obviously.
Yeah.
The topic stuff, we try to not always be, always down one path. So I mean, like, like there's a time where we'll do a lot of paranormal stuff, and then we kind of go off on a different thing. Like we did some crypto stuff, and then we, did some UFO stuff. So we bring people in that are associated with that, or just give our opinions on an episode. So I mean, we do try to run the gamut of, everything that's out there. So that way it's just not always the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And if we run, and Jennifer knows this well, if we run over like 8 o'clock, it's a free for all. Sometimes it happens before 8 o'clock, and we get a little nutty, and we have a little. It's usually me, I will admit.
We're off the rails, so to
yeah,
speak.
We do. We go off the rails a little bit. It's usually me that does it. I'll take a responsibility, but yeah, we do go off rail. So.
Fun.
It is fun.
Sure.
It is fun. I just have to really be careful with my mouth, because sometimes I'm like, I get so carried away. I got to watch what I say.
Did you ever find any Moldavite?
Yes, Moldavite. I did. However, it is very difficult to come by, and it's very expensive right now. So I'm still looking.
You know what? My nicest piece of Moldavite I actually got on Amazon. And when I went to Higher Self, I had Jeff look at it because he's like a gemologist.
Mm-hmm.
But he knows what he's doing looking at crystals, and he told me it was real. So I got lucky, I think, probably. Because
because there are a lot of fake pieces out there. In my research, I did find that there was.
Ooh, do you want me to show it to you?
The fakey?
Yes. Yeah, the fake, the real one. The real deal.
Oh.
Malachite is faked a lot.
What is it?
Malachite.
Okay.
Do you know what?
Okay.
It's a really
don't.
pretty green stone.
I'm like one of those people. So this is going to explain me to a T right here.
Okay.
Okay. So I deal in crystals, and I love that, but I only love what I have. I don't look outside the box at all, ever. I don't examine other things and know what they are, ever. It's kind of like with me and mediumship. Like, I'm a medium. I can do readings, but can I read a palm or read astrology? Or, I'm not great at tarot, and I'm okay at doing our charm castings.
Yeah.
I mean, I really enjoy that, but I run into these mediums who do all these things, and I'm thinking, that is so weird, because I just see dead people and I listen to them. That's it. That's all I do, really. I mean, I do nothing else.
You don't need to do more than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess.
No, I can't do tarot in like the, I know, 8 of twigs means this thing or whatever.
Yeah.
I know, but I'm trying to. I haven't memorized what all of the symbology means, so I have to like intuit it. So I prefer oracle cards, because any idiot can use oracle cards, and I am any idiot. Cards work very well for me. But I've got crystals coming out my eyeballs, so.
Okay.
I've got some of them here, but I tried to spray them around the house so they're not gathered in. Yeah. Kathy, show them your Moldavite.
I was trying to find it and I couldn't find it, which is weird. Maybe I'm not supposed to be showing it or something.
I'll get mine. And I got another one. I got that Sintamani stone that I was telling you guys about last week.
Yep.
Another Tektite.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I know what that is.
This is my other Moldavite. It just looks like green.
No.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, you can see the green.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's my Moldavite that I'll have people hold sometimes. Oh, and I just got a really cool one. I just got a nice Herkimer diamond.
What is that?
Herkimer diamond.
What is that for? I think I have that, but it's not in front of me, so I can't see it to show you. Is that like the sleep stone? Is that the sleep stone where you put it under your pillow and it does dreaming things?
Yeah.
I don't know on that one. And I can't remember like off the top of my head what this one does, but I could get my crystal book out and tell you.
There's too many stones. What the heck?
Oh, I want to tell you that you should watch our show tomorrow night, because we're doing Black-Eyed Children.
Yes, I don't know what that is, by the way. Can you tell me?
That's why you need to watch the show.
Oh.
No, we're not going to tell you.
Well,
You want to know what you watch?
Absolutely not.
well, I can do the. I can do. Well, oh, is that
No.
yours?
That's one of
That's
mine.
Moldavite.
It's hard to
Nice.
see the green. I gotta
You
get
can see it on the
Yeah,
edges.
yeah. Yep,
super pasty.
Pretty good size one.
that's
And
a
then-
nice one.
I got that one on Etsy. Etsy to me is like
Etsy
that's like
Can work
go-to,
out. Yeah.
honestly.
Well,
What's happening here?
What I can say about the black-eyed children is what I put in the description is it's not really it's not something that's really ancient. It's a very more recent. phenomenon. So,
yeah.
and the actual timing, it started in the 1980s. So it
Oh.
really is a newer thing,
Oh,
which is interesting.
like,
So it's
say,
not old.
7-ish?
What was that? You broke up on my end.
Oh, I did. Sorry, 86 or 7-ish.
Yeah, I know they just said the 1980s. There hasn't like a official exact
Oh,
number, but
I was just thinking because the 80s is when the harmonic conversions took place. So wouldn't it be weird if it was after the harmonic conversion?
oh, maybe.
Mm.
Good
But
point.
I think of
Yeah.
crap like that. So
And even then, like the title says, it's in children. So,
Mhm.
but it's an interesting phenomenon, and
yeah,
I
weird.
don't know anybody personally that has experienced anything like that. So
Hmm.
I'm still looking for those witnesses.
Is that
Now,
Moldavite also?
no, this is Sintamani, but what sucks is it like it's another Tektite. It's supposed to be super freaking powerful, but ooh, that's bad. Don't do that.
Oh, I can see now.
Isn't
Yes.
it? Pretty? It's
Yep.
so pretty, but it looks like a hunk of coal otherwise.
Cool.
Gotta
Yeah,
have the right lighting.
I have a kind of a lot of stones in my house.
Yeah.
Lot of crystals.
Yeah.
So do I, kind of.
My probably one of my most important ones though is this.
Is that I mean, it's quartz, but what kind of quartz is that?
It's just clear quartz as far as I know of, but
Oh, is it
it's
like
just
a
the most.
quartz or a,
Yeah.
there's like 8,000 variations.
Yeah, there is. There's smoky quartz, green quartz, purple
Well,
quartz.
even, like there's 1,000 of them clear quartz like that.
Mhm.
I'll bet you is if that's not a celestial. I'll guarantee you that's laser wand. I guarantee you that's laser wand quartz.
This one, no, this one was I actually bought up in Midland at Waste of Wellness, and it's Lemurian. She told me.
Oh, I was gonna say celestial, but that was my second guess.
Yep. And my finger fits in it just perfect.
Oh,
Because
wow.
you're supposed to have it.
Yes.
This is the this is polished and non-polished. This is a stropholite, and it's
Oh,
freaking
pretty.
amazing. I got
Ooh.
cracks on my butthole, but I saw it and I thought, ooh, I should show them that.
These are the ones that we wanted to start doing the show and tell with, because I went up there and was like, ooh, I like that. So I was like pretending to cut everybody with that.
Oh.
Oh.
I know.
Downstairs.
You have to make a sound when you do that, though.
You have to do something.
We got to try to do the
Lightsaber. That's
Yeah.
the next one.
yeah, the lightsaber sound.
Oh, by the way, I did talk, Bonnie messaged me back. She said she's really tired today. So sorry, she's not going to be able to make it on tonight. But, sometimes we just need a break.
Yeah,
Yep,
I agree.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So I want to hear some cool stories about some paranormal stuff.
Yes, please.
Yeah, me too.
Well, Debbie, you should. I can do some of it, but you should at least start it. But you should talk about the one where basically the first time we ever met at the old mill, and what was going on with you, because that was a little profound,
Right.
and
okay.
I think everybody will enjoy that one.
Yeah. So
Regales.
yeah. So I was at the mill. I hadn't met the Swippy team at all at that point. I was with Deb DeRoos. We were just there. She sells stuff from her store, and we were vending there. And I was sitting next to a guy named Mike, and they were selling the t-shirts for the old mill. And we
our
were
Parafest.
chatting.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, for the Parafest. It was the Parafest. So Mike and I were chatting, and he said, well, how about if I take you to the basement? And I'm thinking, what? the hell does he want to take me to the basement for? You know,
It's not creepy.
Yeah.
Not that kind of creepy. It's the creepy in the
Yeah.
haunted way.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, I mean, it was just a really awkward the whole thing started out awkwardly because I was sitting in my chair and my chair was vibrating. And I'm like,
Getting better and better.
I
Vibrating chair.
I was like, I turned to Mike, I'm like, dude, my chair's vibrating. And he's like, oh, you know, like, really? Yeah. I really want to take you to the basement. Yeah, okay. So I went to the basement because, you know, I had never been at the mill, never. And he wanted to show me the basement because I'm a medium. And, you know, like I said, all people think mediums should be into the paranormal. And he wanted me to be, you know, down there telling him what was going on. So I went down there and the first, I'm going to have to tell the whole story. The first thing I saw was this weird dog thing. And it was like running around on the ceiling. And I'm thinking, what is going on? This is not really what I thought was going to happen here. And he's like, other people have seen it. So it was like, it was validating to him that, okay, I have to be a medium because I'm seeing the same thing that Adam saw. And then another guy came down, saw the same thing at the same time. So it was pretty bizarre. And so we had stayed down there for quite some time. And we had a reporter down there with us, and I had this I'm into like really unusual necklaces. This necklace happened to have a red heart that looked like the Titanic heart from, you know, the movie. And it was a really kind of a big thing. And this reporter was down there and she's like, you know, I'm not really feeling too much of anything. All of a sudden my necklace starts moving around my neck. And thank goodness she was there to see it, because it was like, holy smoke, it was fantastic. Not for me, because remember, I'm chicken. I was standing so still, and I was like a statue because I was so scared. And they actually got video of it. And I can't remember the lady who got the video of it, but it wasn't one of our teams. So we were never, I saw the video, but we weren't able to obtain the video, which really stunk.
Yeah.
But after all that, it was we were down there for probably a good hour and a half. I went upstairs, and as I walked up the basement stairs and into the regular area, I felt something like on me. I don't even know how to explain it. Like I felt something still attached to me, still on me. Yeah. And I told Mike, I said, listen, I feel really funny. I feel like I have something attached to me and we need to take care of this right now. I said, get your EMF meter and go outside and clear the area outside for me. And he of course is thinking, oh my God, what is wrong with this lady? I was not joking around. I was like, this is what we're going to do, and we're going to do it now. So he went outside, he used the EMF meter, it cleared everything out. And I said, all right, I'm going outside, keep the EMF meter away from me and walk up to me. You know, I made sure I didn't have anything on, nothing, no jewelry, no electronics. I was like a naked person under my clothes, for real. And I would have ripped my clothes off to be actually naked because I was that scared. And so he goes and takes that meter, and that thing was spiking all over me. So I of course I'm panicking, but I'm controlled panic. And I told him, I said, we need to figure this out right now. I said, I can't leave here at all. I can't go home. I have to stay here forever unless you find somebody to take care of this right now. And he said, okay. went over to Adam and he talked to Adam, I'm sure telling him what was going on, but I was just like, I didn't know if I should go inside, outside. I didn't know what to do. And we went into this generator room at the mill, and he introduced me to Adam and said, Adam's going to take care of this. And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure he is. I sat down in this chair. I didn't know this guy. And I'm like, okay, so take care of this because I'm starting to panic. So he put his hands on my shoulders. He says, just relax, close your eyes. And I'm thinking, okay, they're closed. Hurry it up now. And he did. He actually removed whatever was attached to me. And it was weird because I felt it leave my feet. And like, this is nothing I've ever felt before. I was a little nervous, and I went outside again with Mike. I said, now scan me, please scan me again. And it was gone. It was absolutely gone. And I'm telling you that, you know, I don't know. I am so fortunate that I was able to feel that, because if I would have taken that home, that's what I think about. That's what I think about when I go into paranormal situations now. Okay, am I going to be okay? I will not go in any paranormal situation unless Adam is there, first of all, because I don't want to bring anything home. And so, yeah, that's how Adam and I met. How many years ago? It's been like 5 years ago or something.
At least five
or
sure.
6.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
You guys act like you know each other for a whole lot longer than that. Which
Oh, yeah.
you do, like in previous lifetimes, of course, but
Right.
interact as if you've known each other all your lives.
Well, we're great friends. I mean, we have gone to New York together. We've done a lot of things together. I have, in mediumship, I've tried mentoring him to push him a little bit further than he wanted to go, but he's taken off so good that he's just my friend now. Like, we are just friends. And like, if I'm having issues, I will call him immediately. If he's having issues, he calls me, but not immediately. But
right. Yeah, I hold on to it for a minute.
He does hold on to it. But I mean, we've done some really fun things together. I mean, I've put him on the spot. I actually I did an event. I actually put together an event and then told him he was going to be doing gallery readings. His first
Never done it before.
I didn't. Yeah.
And that's the funny part is even
you did great. And
well,
that's the thing.
And she's read everybody that did show up, which wasn't a big crowd, but
Right.
everybody that showed up, everybody's gotten some sort of reading from her. So like she was kind of like just kind of scooting back, and I'm going like, I can't do this all myself.
I told him up until the time that this event was actually in play that we were doing readings together.
Right. And then not.
Things happen.
Well, well, the interesting thing is and I've talked about that in some presentations and stuff like that, that, you know, what she has done, you know, was good, because I mean, you're not supposed to be completely comfortable, because you get comfortable, you get complacent, and you kind of forget a lot of things. And so when she would be like, and I've seen her do it to a couple other up and comers, where she's just like, okay, read me now. And everybody's just like, no, do it now. And it's like, they're freaking out. I'm like, just do it. Don't stop. Just do it. And,
yeah, just don't think about it. That's the thing. You know, I mentor people that I think have abilities to be able to do things. And if you show me that you have an ability and you're interested, you better just be ready to do readings, because I'm going to put you on the spot and say, okay, look at me. Listen to what I'm saying. What is the first thing that comes to your mind when you look at me? And almost every single time it's my dad. Yep. Almost every single time they can call my dad out by name. So it is bizarre. Or one of my brothers or my sister. It is bizarre. And when they do that, I say, okay, you're good to go. And that's where they get their confidence from. So it's, you know, I've been doing this a long time. I've been doing gallery readings. Oh my gosh, man, a long time. I've been doing missing a long time. So I feel like when you come to me, you better be ready, because I will push you. I will push you. I will push you. I will set up events for you, and I will make you read people sitting in the chairs if that's what I have to do to get you out there. And now look at Adam. He can do he can stand up in front of people and do gallery readings and not have a second thought about it. So I've accomplished my mission with him. So
I've graduated and moved on.
graduated. Yeah.
I am equal with her now.
Right.
Thank you, Wasta.
You've always been equal with me. You just needed a little push. That's all.
Yep. And that's, I mean, and that's the cool thing about that. I mean, you know, we've all come across somebody that has helped us in some way, whether it was real small or was real significant. And so, you know, I think that's how we grow and become better at what we do and how we do it. You know, we're constantly, you know, connecting with people, and you learn something. It's like, oh, damn, man, that's kind of cool. I'm going to use that, you know, and you adapt it into your whatever, you know, part you're doing and stuff. And so it's been a hell of a ride so far.
It has been. I mean, I started radio in New York. I was doing radio out of New York for a long time, New York City, and paranormal radio out of there. And then I came small town. I got off of that and came back here to do just blog talk radio. That's what I was doing for a long time. And then Adam and I got together, and we've been doing a host of different things. We do so much different radio. There's so much out there. We're never Google my name. Don't do it. I'm just warning you. Never do it. So that's where we're at. And then, yeah, so I'll stop talking. You get me started. See, that's what happened. I told you I didn't really want to talk.
So that just shows you that she's got radio ingrained. Yeah. She just knows that when you want an answer, you're going to give an answer. It's not going to be just like, yeah. No. Maybe.
So Adam, have you had an instance when you went into a house or to clear a place? Because I also clear. I think we all do. Jen does too. We all clear energies from houses and places, but I don't work on a paranormal team like you do. But so have you had instances where you felt like you were like in over your head or any of that type of thing?
Yeah, well, I mean, you do when you start to figure out what's going on, and then you're like, you know, is this something that I need assistance for? I know, you know, I guess I've been fortunate when I've done a lot of the remote work that I do, that I've been okay with it, and I don't know if that's just the fact that, as I like to call it, you know, it's a spiritual self dealing with their spiritual self. And so, you know, it's just kind of like different style of, you know, and then versus me in the flesh walking into a home. But our team has had other, you know, mediums come along, and we've tag team a location a couple times. I've done it, you know, been invited to other teams to walk into a place with them. So I think a lot of times it's either they know what's going on, or they're not sure. And so the whole idea is if you got at least one more person that's good at cleansing and clearing, then you get all these forces walking in there, and it's just like, you know, a couple big dudes walking in. We're like, we're gonna get this thing out of here.
Yeah.
So, but you know, I think it's, when I've come across those, when I've been in those situations, you know, it's just another confidence booster knowing that, you know, you got somebody working with you, and you know what they're capable of, they know what you're capable of, and then it's just like, we're just going to do our thing, and we're going to either get rid of whatever's there and just get that house, you know, or home or whatever it is, you know, sparkling clean again, so to speak. So, but yeah, so yeah, eventually, you know, I have seen it, and so far I've been fortunate with the remote stuff, and only a few instances where it's been a little intense, you know, where it's been, you know, in the house, and it's like, woo, you can feel that and cut it with a knife. So
I haven't done remote yet. I've only done like where I'm at the place. So that's another thing for me to tackle. I've not done that yet.
Yeah, and definitely, you know, start small, but don't do like maybe necessarily paranormal cases right away until you get your feet a little bit more wet. Yeah. Because like I did is I just did the remote stuff only just to obtain information. Yeah. So that way it helped us out when we went to the actual location. And that was the whole, the thing was, I wanted to use the remote viewing just to, what are we dealing with? Because, you know, anybody that watches TV shows, you know, take it for a grain of salt, but you know, you go in there and you're going to all the different rooms, and you're trying to find the source of everything. And so eventually what you end up doing is you're wasting all this time. So I found that when I did the remote work, I was able to cut down like hours worth of work, for the team to like, hey, you know what? This spirit or spirits like to be over in this area of the house, or this one's here and that one's over here. And what we end up doing is we walk in the home, everybody just goes to those locations because I've already not seen it, but I've seen it through my spiritual eyes. Walk in there, we go right to those rooms and boom, we're getting activity right out of the gate. And it's like, okay, yep. And then we can back it up. We can show the clients, yep, this is what you got. And this is what's confirming. And so originally that's all I was doing, just obtaining information.
Right.
And then I wanted to try, where I couldn't get to a location physically. So I'm like, well, let me try to see what I can do about cleansing it. So I started doing a cleanse just to quiet things down. And then when that, would work or not work, and not working is just because the spirits just really want it to be, a bad word. So then it's like, okay, well, we're going to deal with you now. So then I usually go back, whether it's a second or third time, and I'd be like, okay, I'm pulling you out. So you're done. And then, get them out and then cleanse the home. And then that way, kind of gives that home back to the owners. So,
yeah.
So yeah, I've gradually worked into that, where I do that, big time, where I'll just go in and do removals and things like that. But I didn't at first. And that's what I would recommend, Jennifer. Just do like obtain the information, talk with them, or be the fly on the wall, as I like to call it too. Literally, you're this big on the wall and they have no idea that you're even there. Get all the information and then you back out, and then you can, figure out what the clients want to do moving forward.
Yeah. Because I can do, I found that when I started doing my energy healing remotely, it was way easier and much more powerful, because it like dropped a lot of the barriers. And so I can cleanse entities and attachments off of people, and I can do it fairly easily, like really easily remotely. All of my energy healing is much more powerful and easier remotely. And Kathy, I think you and I had a conversation where you discovered the same thing, because it just removes so many of the barriers. Yeah. And so I would assume that it would be the same would be true with the house. And Kathy, didn't you just do recently a remote clearing as well? And I thought you said something similar, where it's like it's almost easier to do it remotely. Am I remembering correctly?
Yeah, because I've had people calling me from all over, because I go all over Michigan. And then sometimes it's like, to drive like 3 hours one way, and it's just too much. I'm not in that area. So I've actually done, I've done actually way more than that, just kind of clearing energies for people. But I've actually done complete house cleansings with people on the phone, and I have them take the phone to different rooms, or most of the time, actually, I've even done it for some children I've been seeing some children that have been coming to me that have been really open and actually have been seeing things in their house or whatever. And I helped them. Actually, there was one child, I actually helped this child with the child, had her take me to each room. And I helped her because they were there anyway. She's been there. So she helped guide me, and I taught her how to help them go to the light, actually, which was kind of cool. And because these kids are so open right now. And I've been working with a lot of kids in the last like month or so many of them. And I think it was the other day we were talking about kids and stuff like that. And I've just, all of a sudden it's just blossomed with that, where they're able to see everything I'm able to see, and probably way more, because they're so open. And I'm like, oh, this is so much fun. You can see everything. And like, because the way I work, I kind of work with them. And then usually they'll see things when I see it or right before it or whatever. And then it's like, boom, let's do this, let's do that. And so I've done a lot of that stuff remotely, but it's been pretty amazing, because I wouldn't have thought, I thought, if I can go to the place in person, I will, but it's been pretty amazing. And then a lot of times, I don't know if you guys get this, but a lot of times more of a house cleansing is actually mediumship, because I'm going down and seeing who's down there, or usually it's on the bottom floor or basement to me, or attic, but it's like I just go sit down if they're okay, and just kind of sit with them, help them out, and help guide them where they need to go, and cleanse it, and bring some good juju back in there, and say, okay, I'm done. But it's been really interesting lately with being able to do, because I never would have tried that probably remotely until just recently. And Adam, I think you're the one who guided me in that direction, watching you do the stuff that you do. And I was like, why, I probably could do that, you know, if it's, especially if it's a long drive and stuff like that. And there's only so much time and, you know, space.
Yeah.
So.
And that's the cool thing is that even with it being a distance thing, and that's why I started doing it even more, because some people were saying, well, we need you to help us, and it's like, well, where you're at, and then they're, like that, they're like 3 hours. I'm like, oh man, that's a 6-hour round trip, and that's just the driving aspect. That's not being in the home for several hours, you know, at least. So it's like, you know, that's a whole day, and even then, you know, even though right now it's different, but my work schedule's, you know, pretty bad, and I'm waking up super early in the morning, so like the weekends, so it's like I don't want to wake up at 3:30 in the morning typically when I'm still working on site. But now it's like, you know, I'm up at 6 and it's a lot more tolerable. But so yeah, it helps. But even then, you know, that's the cool thing is the distance when you do the remote viewing, it doesn't really matter. There's really no time in between. So, you know, when you get to wherever you're at, I mean, I've done some stuff just even recently, you know, 6-hour time difference. That's the longest I've done now. And I'm like, that blew me away because it was figuring it all out and scheduling. It was just hard because I'm like, I'm doing math and I'm trying to look at a clock. I'm like, okay, you know, and it was like late at night. It was like 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night that I was doing this. So I was trying to be all rested up and, you know, ready to do this. So, but when you do it, you know, it's just like, boom, you're there and it doesn't, you know, you don't even think about the distance anymore. So it's a fun tool. And, you know, definitely work with people and learning how to do it. You know, I definitely wouldn't just suggest you just start out and start going and trying to do this. I mean, it's easy, but not easy. And especially since there's really some safety and things like I always have to have written permission, you know, when I do something. I do it a little bit differently than Kathy does, but you know, I do it completely disconnected from everything. So I have no contact other than I send messages to the client, whether it's through, you know, a messenger or a text, and I don't go with anything live because I want complete disconnect. That's just how I work. So when I do it, I hear nothing, I see nothing. I'm completely sitting in my chair, this chair, in fact. And so, that way, when I'm focused, I don't hear nothing going on, and then I just do my thing, and then I back out. And once I'm done, then I'm writing them, you know, and telling them what's up or calling them on the phone if I need to. So
I definitely do it different then. I definitely do it different because I'll actually, when I'm in person with the people, when I'm doing a cleansing, I will actually have them walk with me through, but I usually won't allow the children to be in the house because I don't think that's cool. And then I just kind of teach them what to do while I'm going, because that's how I learned. So I thought, I'll teach you. That's kind of how I
do give homework afterwards. And I always tell them, you have homework and this is what you need to do moving forward. So, but I always tell them what I do, you know, and a lot of times it's neat because since I don't tell them exactly what I'm doing, it's neat to hear what they're saying. It's like, did you walk by me? And it's like, well, yeah, kind of. I mean, floated by maybe, but you know, and there's some other, you know, I tried new things. I tried different techniques when it comes to removals and cleansing. And a couple of times people, I'm like, what was that? Like everything shook. And I went, sorry, you know, trying something new. So that's cool too, because when they don't hear you or they don't know what you're doing, and then something happens, it's a cool validation back that I'm like, ooh, okay, maybe this will work moving forward. So, you know.
Want to hear? I had actual physical proof from one of the houses that I did, and I actually didn't. I did the work on the house, and they had a detached garage. It was a ways away, and I'd been there a really long time, and I was like, okay, I don't think I need to go in the garage, so I didn't. And I just cleanse it, and I do a lot of vortex energy. So I'll do a lot of pulling out with vortexes. I do that in people's bodies and properties, kind of not much different. And she messaged me the next day and sent me a picture of the vortex in the dirt in the garage. So cool. I've never had proof like that. So I was like so excited. I don't know if anybody else will believe it, but I'm like, yeah, that's so cool.
That's cool. Yeah, that's kind of, I mean, not that we are like dying for that validation. I think we can all agree to that, you know, because we know what we're capable of. We know what our niche is, but you know, it's just the whole thing. Sometimes it's nice to kind of still get that little bit being like, oh, that's cool.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So Debbie, I could go into a bunch of different things, but my first question, and this may be a brief answer, I don't know, is do you communicate with beings that are non-human?
I have, but not, yes, I don't like that.
And I guess I would clarify to say like angelic beings. I mean, there's questions.
Okay. Another problem that I have too is that I only see and hear dead people.
Okay. Some people do only have that, like that bandwidth that they work within.
Exactly. I know nothing of spirit guides. I know nothing of angels. I am just plain old medium, boring medium, you know.
No, I kind of envy that because I only communicate with people on like rare occasions when they happen to like show up and they feel different from the other beings that I work with.
Right.
And I'll get a feeling about, you know, their relationship to the person, their gender, that kind of stuff. And then I can kind of get the messages, but it's like, oh my God, it's a human. So to me, it's more surprising for me when I'm communicating with someone who's passed versus communicating with one of my guides or one of their guides that are more celestial or cosmic or pick your whatever. And so I know that people can have varying bandwidths that they work within. So you're either only working with the angelic, cosmic higher realms, or you're working more, some people work within the elemental realm only, or just with people who've crossed over, or like a whole gamut of all of them. And so I'm always like, what do you do? Because there's with the humans, it's such a rare occasion that it's like, ooh, you know, I find it so cool. So then my other question.
Well, there was one time, let me just tell you this. There was one time where I did have the weirdest thing happen, and I, of course, was not happy about it because it wasn't very nice. But I was going to go do a house cleansing, and before I went to do that house cleansing, I hadn't talked to the client. I hadn't talked to anybody because I like to go in with nothing. And there was this terrible entity that showed up in my home, and it was standing in a doorway between myself and the bathroom. And this was like at night. This was like, I don't know what time it was, but I was not asleep yet. I was reading a book, and I was in bed, and it was our master bath and our master bedroom. And it was standing in the doorway, and I telepathically, it was calling me some of the most horrific names. I couldn't believe it. I didn't believe it because I'm a skeptic with all this. I really am. I am a terrible skeptic. Unless I see it, I don't believe it. I mean, I really don't believe anything. And I was horrified. I went to this house cleansing, and the guy was possessed by something because he was this giant 6'4" construction worker. I mean, he was just, I mean, not a person that you would ever see fall into this kind of thing. Like, you would not imagine that, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
Well, he refused to come home because we were there. Hours we stayed there waiting for him because we were not going to leave. He finally came home, and I have never witnessed anything like this in my entire life, where I actually know that I was dealing with a demonic situation.
Yep.
I should never have been there because I am not trained in that sort of thing. It's a very rare, you know, people always talk about demonic and demons and this and that, and everybody has a demon and everybody has demonic stuff going on. No, that's not true. There's negative energies out there that can, you know, you're confused between demonic. This was demonic. There was nothing that I will never ever believe that it was nothing more than demonic. The way it showed up in my home, because it knew, you know, they talked, they knew I was coming, and I am that of God. I do not work under anybody else but the good Lord himself. And this thing was so wicked. This man's face was twisted. I was so, okay, I was terrified. I'm not going to lie. I was terrified. They laid him down in a chair because they could not control this man. And this man lived in a freaking, probably $1 million home. He was a very wealthy man. He was a very, very professional man. And I just was not prepared for any of it.
Yeah.
It was, they did this cleansing on him, which I agreed to be involved in. I'm glad I was involved in it. I'm glad I did it. But the man ended up passing out. He was out cold for a good 20 minutes. Out cold. We couldn't wake him up. He was still, you know, there was a nurse on the team. We had a mental health professional on our team. And this is not the SWIPY team. This was a totally different team. We had a mental health professional on our team who was also present. We had a nurse practitioner on our team who was also present. People were doing vitals on him. I had to leave. I had to go outside because it was probably the most intense thing I have ever been through my entire life. But it went away. We got it out of there. And when I met him after this happened, and you know, when he came to and they got him, I mean, we're talking 6, 8, 10 hours of this. And I met him. It wasn't even the same guy that walked in that door from trying to, you know, he refused to come home. It wasn't even the same man. That was such a rare thing to have happen. Like, I was mad when I left because I should never have been involved in that. People that have training should be involved in that. I shouldn't have been. But I mean, it was the whole thing, just seeing that black entity. And I mean, it was calling me a slut. It was calling me a B word. It was, I mean, I've never in my life, I'm just like, I couldn't believe it. I mean, I had to make a phone call. I'm like, you are not going to believe what's happening in my home right now. And he's like, you need to just shut down right now because you don't want to talk about it. You want to acknowledge it. You don't want to. And I'm thinking, why am I involved in this? You know, why am I involved in this? So
for viewers, just because we're on the subject,
okay,
I want all of the viewers to know that when it comes to negative and lower energies and entities, if you do not know how to properly protect yourself and know how to effectively remove it, please call a professional. Please do not try to screw with it yourself, because you could end up making matters much worse for yourself. So, and also I just want to let everybody know that before we started this and before we start all of our videos, we always put up a protective circle. And so even though we're talking about less than love and light things, nothing but love and light is allowed to enter this conversation. So I just want everybody to know that we think of these things, but please don't watch this and feel inspired to go and cleanse negative energy entities from homes and people without being trained, because even after like hearing her story, it can be really terrifying. And if you don't know how to protect yourself, you can end up really in a bad way, because they can transfer from people and they can attach to you and all that good stuff. So just no dinking around. We have some comments and questions for you guys. Where are we? Okay, so Lindsay says she was wondering about that too, about you, Debbie, and whether or not you can talk to other beings. And there's a question about that too, but it says, because of Debbie's story about how Adam removed her attachment, I know that I have the medium-like abilities, but was curious about how these abilities manifest and if they can expand or be learned. We all know I've seen and done some very paranormal things that don't fall under one category. And she's referring to previous conversations where she expressed having seen some weird crap, and I've seen some seriously weird crap. So I'm with her on that one. And yes, we can, expand everything. We can expand, open our gifts and abilities. We can also broaden our bandwidth, which speaks to Mark's question. He says, why can't others communicate with their guides and beings and others can? And so I've got my answer, and then I want you guys to kind of expound on it. But my perspective is that there's a twofold thing. So when you have gifts and abilities, it's got nothing to do with your vibrational level. You can be the most evil being in the world, but still do healings and communicate with spirits. It's not a vibrational thing. So you can be a healer and be super dark and shadow based. Abilities has to do with your energetic faculties and how open they are. And it usually has to do with reincarnation and the bodies that you've chosen before and gifts and abilities that you've chosen before. So those things are open. And so a lot of it has to do with how much they're open. But you can open those more. You can also shut them down, which a lot of kids do when they've been young and they've experienced things, and they're told that they're either scared or they're told that they're full of crap and they're just making things up. So they just shut down.
Right.
But the other thing is it also then has to do with your vibration. And so it's sort of like a radio. So you can connect with those beings that are on the bandwidth that you are adjusting your vibration to. And so that's why there are people that their energetic systems are specific to a particular bandwidth, because oftentimes they're born attuned to that bandwidth. But Debbie could, if she wanted, open up her bandwidth by shifting her frequency and tune into, like a radio station, like changing a dial, tune into different frequencies. And so it just has to do with not only your energetic attunement, but also your vibrational attunement and how you adjust your vibration and then like direct that communication. So now I'm going to shut up.
Well,
I
have to say something too about that, because when I started doing this, I was in my 40s. Okay, I'm almost 60 now. So I was probably in my 30s, my late 30s when I started doing this. I was looking for my purpose in life. I did not know what my purpose in life was. I knew it was to serve. I didn't know how I was going to do that. I mean, I was making clothes for the homeless. I was making sleeping bags for the homeless. I mean, I was going crazy.
Yep.
It was so annoying because nothing I did made me feel good.
Yeah.
So when this started with me, I knew when I was doing mediumship and I was finding people who have passed away and they were not found, and I was literally able to direct people to these poor souls that want to be, reunited with their families or however. I knew that was my purpose. So I knew that I didn't need to go any further with it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I have no desire to do anything else with it at all. And that's just me. I'm very happy and content with what I do. And I mean, I guess getting guidance, I don't know. I'm just at peace with what I'm doing. I try to explain that to people. Like, I don't need anything else. I have my relationship with my God. I have my abilities. And I finally, for the first time in my life, back when I was 40, felt like I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. It was that complete satisfaction, my completeness, I guess I would call it, my completeness. So I guess if I could go further, because I've proven to myself that, I can put myself out there and go further and do other things, but that doesn't make me happy. Right. Yeah. So my happiness is what I'm doing. And I mean, I had a missing person today. So, I mean, I have missing every day. every single day I'm contacted about somebody.
That's the kind of thing that I think is awesome. That's the stuff that I can't do because I don't communicate with dead people, at least not often or intentionally. And so that's a gift that is freaking amazing.
You could do that. Anybody can do it.
I mean, I get it, but not intentionally. Right. Normally it's,
Well, yeah, you have to work at it. Where mine was a natural gift. It was a natural ability. I never say gift because you can't return it. It's a ability. It's a natural ability. And so, it is a natural ability for me. Like I have no problem connecting families to their loved ones. I have no problem. Yeah. And so that's where my grief ministry comes in, where after they find their loved one, then the healing begins with me. I have families that I still talk to 10, 15 years later. These people are like my family. Yeah. It's why I have so many friends on Facebook. I mean, it's like I never let go of my families, never. So I am so content with where my life is with this ability. For a long time I wasn't, because being a minister, this is not what you're supposed to be doing. I was a minister before I was this. So it's not what you're supposed to be doing per the ministry. Things are opening up a little bit. Exactly. So, yeah.
But it's that's a level of healing that, how shall I say this? That's a type of healing that people with your skill set, is so good at, where, Kathy and I, we focus more on, physical healing, chakra healing, clearing out negative entities, talking to guides, doing, all kinds of stuff. And we don't focus on, finding people who, dead bodies. We don't focus on, that's not where we focus, but it brings such healing to the families and the people that need that closure and need that level of communication. It's your own brand of healing, and it's incredible.
I actually have PTSD from that. I suffer from PTSD because of all the things that I've seen, all the things that I've I don't feel like it's bad PTSD. I've actually been working through it now that I know what it is. Yeah. So it's one of those things where, we all suffer from something when we put our energy out and into the world the way I do, because I can tell you it's not pleasant. It's not pleasant at all. And Adam can tell you. I mean, I've seen things that no normal human being should see ever. And so, not only mentally, but physically going, when I used to go out physically searching, I've seen dead bodies. Yeah. And that's
a whole different.
It is. It can be, and I have to take one heck of a break after it's over, because I'm giving up every energy I have to put myself out there. I don't go out in the field anymore. That's one of the things I had to stop. I'm really good at doing Google Map and stuff. I can pinpoint somebody on a map, which is really weird to me. And I find it amazing that it happens and it actually works. But for me, I know where I can go now and where I can't. So, and you have to know your limits. You have to, or you will end up crazy like me.
Yeah. I see stuff. Well, Lindsay can tell. We see weird crap and dark things on occasion when they try to, invade, but nothing like that. Like I've thankfully never seen, like I've never had someone who's crossed over who was, say, murdered, trying to show me how they were killed, or what, like it's not negative, but it's also hard to look at. Right. It's hard. And so
I've been so fortunate that I work with some of the best police units ever, where if I tell them that this was not what they think it is, they will literally take me to different sites so that I can go through with them how things happened. If somebody, I have people call me, I have investigators call me and say, can you tell me if this person's alive or dead? And they trust me. And that is so huge for law enforcement, you know, and mediumship. It's such a it is a delicate dance balance thing too, because you know, you can't act a fool, you have to be very professional. But I have the best relationship with the police departments. They all trust me. And it's one of those things, if I say this guy was murdered and they label it as a suicide, they will reopen the investigation and they will go in and look at this again. They send me autopsies, photos, autopsy reports, and they asked me to go over things. And yeah, it's like it is an important thing when you're doing that, but it really can be bad too. You know, it can really, really drag you down when that's all you're dealing with. So yeah.
And that's why it's so important for you to, that it is amazing what you do, Debbie, I have to say. Absolutely amazing. Especially for all the years. I can only get a little inkling because since I see past lives, I see a lot of really rough stuff. A lot of really rough stuff from people, all kinds of things that it's some really, really bad ones sometimes. So I can't even imagine for doing it for that long, you know, how that, and seeing it even more so than me. But one of the biggest things is cleansing yourself probably, and regrouping yourself afterwards, and cleansing your energy, almost like scrubbing your brain with good energy, something.
Shower, like when I'm working a case, I am showering like 3 and 4 times a day. Ask Adam. Sometimes they say, oh my gosh, you have such good information. Why don't you get in the shower if you're stuck and they're telling me to go shower, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna shower. But you know, because showering, like, water brings out so much, and just to relax you, and it just brings out all your energies. And I mean, water is amazing.
It's a conductor of energy too, so it helps you, like, I don't know, strengthen your tuning fork, so to speak.
Yeah. See, I don't know how it works. I just tell you, and you can tell me how it works.
That's why, like, baths and showers are so good, or like, you know, going into a lake or putting your feet in a stream, because it's a really good conductor of energy. And I know too, like if you're doing a house cleansing, because if there's like well water that is from a spring, or spring water even just running under the house, that is so good at conducting energy that spirits can like use it as a conduit to get into that space. And so if you cleanse like the water pump, I ain't joking, or the pipe that comes in, and you cleanse it, and you kind of energetically seal it. It's weird, but that's a great way to cleanse a house and keep it clear. But water is an amazing conductor of energy. That's like it's like you standing and holding a lightning rod is like you in a shower.
Right. And I live on a peninsula, so I have water. When I walk out my front door, I have a lake out my front door. When I walk out my back door, I have a lake out my back door. So I have well water in between. So
there you go. I got well water.
It's no wonder.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then drinking water too, because I noticed when I don't drink enough water and I'm doing energy sessions all day, I will end up with a terrible migraine by the end of the day.
Right.
I will feel like crap, but I feel just amazing if I make sure which I don't always remember to, or get busy. You know, you're channeling all day and you're like, whatever. But man, it makes me just so much more attentive. So I think inside out, all of it. You know what I mean?
And that's why, like, if somebody's received an energy healing or anything like that, or a massage, it's like, drink water, because all of your cells are now going,
yeah.
And the water like gives the cells enough energy to vibrate at the rate at which they need to vibrate in order to allow for the healing or the clearing or whatever the hell it is that was done
Right.
take place. So it's important on like all levels. Hence the, Kathy and I chugging our
Yeah, me too.
beverages. Adam.
Well, I mean, I do have water. I bet you everybody's been thinking I've been drinking, but you're gonna have to read it backwards. But it's liquid death.
Mountain water.
No,
We can see it.
Mountain water. That's
great.
cool.
The mountain man is drinking mountain water.
But just in case I ran out, I still got more on the side. So
Right.
Oh, good.
Right.
I am drinking my water.
I want to give a Bonnie because in her pajamas, you lucky lady. In her pajamas. Yeah, here's me trying to look all cute. And Lindsay said that she was a little scared, Debbie, when you were telling your creepy story.
Yeah.
Mark says, my first experience was telepathic with golden beings. Still don't know what it was. I have an idea. I have an idea. He says in purple energy for third eye opening with that color. Third is crown. Indigo is third eye. Lindsay says, so what bandwidth is within dreams? I've literally sat down with my spirit guide at Lindsay, typing a book. She said, my spirit guide at a picnic table have had exact dreams about situations that take place the next day or thereafter, and have spoken with a loved one that took his own life. He gave me a message and then proceeded to give, girl, we can go, this is a whole other topic. This is a whole other day. Such a long, oh my goodness. He gave me a tour of his home, which after I described my dad, he was in tears because I described a home they lived in prior to my birth, all within my dreams. I wish I could find a place while alert and awake to tune in. Yeah, but the dreams, it's so much easier because you've got, your barriers are down and the astral realm is so much easier to, how shall I say, for them, it's easier for them to manipulate in order to create the scene that they need to show you. And that works for both the good beings and the not so good beings. But it's more for their ease than ours than anything else. But if you're really good at lucid dreaming, that's about the only amount of control you have about where you go. But then it's not about density and vibration this way. It's more about dimension this way. So dimensions, it's not literal. They're not literally like this because that's spatial and space doesn't exist. But our human brain, it's easier for it to understand as when we're talking about the fifth dimension, technically we're referring to the fifth density because we're going up in density, and dimensions are more like alongside each other. They're like parallel realities, parallel universes, parallel dimensions, parallel realms, take your whatever. And so you can put a number on those, but it's more oh God, it's so complex because you can go up or you can go over, and there's multiple things in each direction. So and then Mark says, understand vibration, energy spectrum, other dimensions, beings, etc. Everything is source energy. I am factual of source energy. Good. Dark or light experience of soul expanding consciousness. I'm not sure what your question is there, Mark, but if you want to repeat it, put it in. Good. We've been neglecting the chat. Wow, just popped in. This is Jennifer with a super cool spelling. Jennifer, Jenafur. That's cool. Wow, just popped in at this time. I'm interested in investigation and psychic connections. So that's cool. And Jennifer,
there's one from earlier
what?
Too.
Oh, who? From what?
There's one from Nancy from Way Up. And she said, and I know about this because she talked to me. She said, tell them about my reality jumping yesterday. It stopped, by the way. She just had a major surgery, and I think it just completely opened her up, especially with the pain meds she's on. And so, yeah,
right.
Literally, like she was saying, and I don't know if you guys have experienced, I have been experiencing some really weird stuff lately, like almost feeling like I'm in the Twilight Zone all of a sudden with the newer energies and stuff like that. But what she said she experienced was like being able to be in two like realities at once.
Wow.
After having her surgery.
Thankfully I have not.
I have to say something real quick.
Yes.
I have to go. I'm sorry.
Debbie!
Can we do this again?
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll bring you guys back on with Bonnie. How's that sound?
That would be wonderful. I would love that. I just real quick want to tell people what's going on. I have like 4 minutes, but I just want to tell them what Adam and we're doing a project together. So, and it's really amazing. It's going to be an amazing project. What we're doing is we are working with families of the missing, and we're doing some video with equipment, and we are trying to get a hold of their loved ones with validation for them, so that they can see the equipment going off. We have recorders, EMF, we have RAM pods, we have all kinds of things. And so we're going in different places to see how this, if we're in a haunted place, like we went to the mill in the basement and we had some crazy things. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. And luckily we got it all on video. And then we're going, we were in the middle of this when COVID started, but where was the next place we were going to go? I forgot now, because it's been so long.
Oh my gosh, I forget where we were going to go.
I have it written down, but I wasn't prepared. But it's somewhere real tranquil and peaceful. And we're going to bring our equipment out and our cameras to see how the equipment acts when we ask them to come forward to see. So it's kind of more of a, what is it? It's more of a like scientific, not really scientific, but more of a, visual thing, rather than us talking. We want proof that this person's actually there. If you're here, do this to the equipment or do that to the equipment. In the meantime, Adam and I are doing mediumship, where we're connecting with the person as well, and we're giving information to the missing families about their loved ones. So they're getting validation from that, and they're getting validation from the equipment. And
the family will be present during
the family is present.
So freaking cool.
Yeah. Yep. And they're all on board. We've done 2 families before COVID hit, and it's been remarkable. I also did one randomly at the mill, and this is what got me onto it, was when I was talking to this woman who didn't want to have anything to do with it, but the daughter kept coming forward and forward and forward and wouldn't stop. And I just said, please, can you just give me 5 minutes? And she's like, okay, fine. Okay. She wasn't ready yet, but it had been several years, but she wasn't really wanting to hear anything. And Mike had a recorder going at the time, and we weren't doing a mediumship thing. She just hadn't ever seen anything happen at the mill, and she worked there. So I started getting her daughter, which was totally random, didn't expect that. Yeah. And I said, I just need to give you these messages. She said, okay, 5 minutes. I'm like, geez, 5 minutes, really? You're going to time me now? So I did. I was giving her these messages, and she was talking about foster care, and that she didn't think she could do it at that time anymore, and da-da-da-da-da. And on the recording, you hear, Mom, I believe in you. And in the middle of the whole thing. And that is what's pushing me so hard to do this project, because that is just like, I mean, who wouldn't want to hear that?
Right.
So it's just some serious validation for Mom, who actually didn't want to hear it, but it was fantastic. And it's really pushing me to go forward with this. Wow. So anyways, this was really fun. I love you guys. I love you, but I gotta go.
All right. Thank you so much.
I love you. And I will talk to you soon. I hope to see you guys tomorrow for, what is it called again?
Black-eyed children.
Black-eyed children.
And beyond the silence.
Yes,
the
silence on Facebook. Oh my God. In my head in shame. I can't even remember my own.
You're focused on what you got to do off camera, so I can see why you forgot.
I know. I'm just like, ah! So love you guys. Thank
Love
you
you.
for having me. It was freaking amazing. I can't. Yes, have us back, please.
Yes,
I
yes.
will.
Don't
Yes,
make
we
me
will.
beg, please.
Okay.
Okay. We'll see ya. Bye, Anna.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So Adam, I gotta say, it was out of all the shows that I would get so frustrated because I used to love watching all the all the shows about the paranormal and all that stuff. And now I get on and watch them and I just get pissed off because I don't feel like they're doing anything for a lot of the people. And I just, as a matter of fact, there was one of the times that did I tell you about that?
No.
I sat and watched one with Tim, with my husband, and we don't do this very often, but we don't watch him. I don't watch him anymore because I have enough of the paranormal in my life, I think now. So, but I was watching it and I saw them. I'm not going to name the show. I don't even know if I can remember which one it was, but they went in and they just wanted to prove, that there was the spirit there, and they showed who he was. They knew who he was, blah, blah, blah. And they left him there. Like they didn't do anything to help him. There was nothing done. And I just got pissed. And I looked at my husband. I go, be quiet for a minute. So I traveled there and I helped him cross. It pissed me off. I was like, what is going on? I mean, yeah, it's great. They messed with him. They played with him. And then they're like, okay, see you later. We proved it when they left. And I was mad. So I think that what you guys are doing is so amazing because like I said, I can't even watch half the shows. Some of them are okay. When they bring in the mediums and actually do something to help them or help clear, that's fine for me. But when this stuff, like what I had seen, I just got pissed and I'm like, hold on. I mean, we can do things like to help the people who need help that they're stuck, So that's really amazing that you guys are doing that.
Well, and it's something different, and obviously we're not rewriting a ton of things, but we're trying to try something that's a little bit different in the sense that, now we're looking at the, missing cases. I don't do a ton of it because it's just a timing. Like Debbie's got more time than I do, and that would just, having a day job and stuff. But, the idea of being able to try to work with families and then yet, you don't normally have all this equipment set up in front of you. I mean, everything that you could possibly use is sitting there, even, the same thing, but different models or different brands and things. And so it's neat that when you start getting some reaction to it, because when you're sitting there, what people won't see is that, we're set up, half an hour, and nothing's happening on the table.
Yeah.
We're all sitting there, we're talking, we're getting ready to, hit records and all that stuff. Nothing is happening. Yeah. And then as soon as we turn everything on and we say, okay, you come forward, and then everything starts going nuts, and we're double checking, making sure we don't got cell phones on, they're in airplane modes. I mean, we're doing everything you could possibly think of to try to rule something out. And then when you're getting stuff that's just blowing your mind, I mean, the one EMF meter, gives you the actual number on there, the milligauss number, and it was reading some of the highest numbers I didn't even think that number could be reached on the device.
Wow.
It was hundreds and hundreds high.
Wow.
That's impossible. Like something like that. That would be like standing, right in the middle of a transformer, an electrical grid. I mean, you'd be obliterated with EMF. But it was just going on right in front of us. So it was just neat that you can back up a lot of things. And of course, that's what a lot of shows are trying to do. Besides the entertainment factor, we are trying to, give something so that people that aren't able to hear and see others, now they can see that, well, even though, you can trust the equipment so far, but there's times where it's like, okay, that equipment's done nothing in over an hour, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, it's going crazy. We've sat back in our chairs to get, away from the table, just to even prove that on camera, and you're still seeing it do things. It's just, it's amazing little thing that, I mean, Debbie's the one that really kind of came up with it because of that one time, and she's like, this might be a good idea to go down. And so I was like, okay, let's see what we can do. And then done a couple of them, and it's like, wow, we got to keep trying this.
Well, what is so cool is I don't think, and Kathy, I like you had watched my show, like for same reason for Kathy, the shows that I watch that are, I call them ghosty shows, there's like a really small grouping, and it's because I know that even if it's not done on camera, they leave the place more at ease than it was when they came. So if it's someone who used to live there and they want to stay there, they leave them alone, and they just help the family that is physically living there kind of have a better relation. But otherwise they cleanse the home, or they send someone, you know, they actually do good with it.
Yeah.
But and those are the only shows I watch, because Kathy, like you, I was livid pissed when they make spirits like jump like freaking monkeys in a circus.
They poke them with a stick. That's basically all it is.
Like, oh.
But that's the entertainment.
Then they walk out and leave it.
Yeah, and it tends to pit, to me, as far as I can tell, it pisses the spirits off even more. Like it just causes more problems, because you're being a jerk. You're going in just taunting, just to be a dick, pardon my French. And it's disrespectful, because you wouldn't do that to a living human being. Why would you do it to someone who's non-physical?
Right.
Oh, hello, Adam.
I think we lost Adam for a sec. I totally agree with you, Jen, though. It's like, that's why I couldn't watch them anymore. I pretty much just quit. And I thought, well, I guess I'll just watch something with a better, with a higher vibration after that.
2 or 3 shows that I watch that I know are good. But what Adam and Debbie are venturing to do, I don't think I've seen anything like that. I've seen, you know, where they show a psychic medium help find, you know, a missing person or whatever, but I've never seen this where there's like a combination of the, there he goes.
Awesome.
He'll probably come back. Where there's that combination of that reunification, but also communication for the family. Like, that's awesome. And I can't wait. He's got to hurry up, because I want to come back and tell us when and where and how, and, you know, that we can see this. This is just the coolest thing.
I know. That sounds like an amazing show that they're going to do.
And like emotional, but in like the best possible way. That kind of heartwarming emotional, where you're crying right along with the family. You're like, oh my God, it's so wonderful. Because that'll be me, you know?
Yes. And I know that Debbie's absolutely amazing. I just was talking to somebody recently who said he had a reading with her, and he said she was like, he just looked at me, he just goes, there's just no way like she would have known any of that stuff. And you know that somebody's really real and really genuine, you know, when that's the case. And it is the way with a lot of us, with a lot of this stuff. There's no way that we would know stuff. Like, I don't know if people realize, you know, throughout time you hear stories. Oh, there's Adam. Throughout stories through time, you hear people go, oh yeah, and this show or whatever, oh, they probably, hey, you're back.
Yep. I don't know. The computer just decided to do something completely different.
Oh, gotcha.
Got a mind of its own.
Apparently. It's still trying to reconnect, so I thought I'd just grab my cell phone.
Okay. So yeah, so what I was saying is a lot of times people think that things are set up in an audience or whatever, but like I'm telling you, when I do readings, I don't know anything about people. I don't have time to do that. I set up my own appointments, and any information I get, like half the time I don't remember the person's name. I just go in, start channeling, and you just go, okay, this is what I see, blah, 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 blah. When you start working shows and stuff like that, if you go to a reader and you're getting, you know, whatever you're getting, I mean, there's no way. They don't know who you are. They don't know you from Adam.
Yeah.
And so it's when you tune in and hook in, it's just kind of so cool. Sometimes it kind of surprises me when I get stuff right. I'm like, really? Oh, I'm right. Woohoo! It's not really me, because it's spirit talking to me, but
yeah, but I totally feel that, because it's like, especially when you get something that's kind of not something unexpected and like off the wall, and you're like, am I getting that right?
yeah.
And so you're like, does this make sense to you? And they're like, total sense. And so I'm thinking, thank God.
Yes. I'm the same way. Yeah. And I'll be like, I have no idea what this means, but I'm just going to say what they say. So I just tell them exactly what I hear. And then if they don't understand either, I go, okay, guys, I need you to explain it. And then they'll kind of give me an explanation. And then, so I just kind of, ooh, because sometimes you're like, okay, nobody understands what you're talking about. I don't get it. But it came out of my mouth, so I'm like, I got to figure this stuff out.
It's like you've got to put words, and this is where I have a hard time, because we're getting things that are like feelings, but it's like a feeling of information. It's like information being like put on you, and then you have to translate that into English, whether it's colors, it can be anything. And translating that bit into words is the hardest bit, because then you have to like try to, during the translation, it's like, are you translating it in a way that is going to be perceived by the listener the way that you're receiving it, and the way that you mean it it's hard to translate energy. So it makes sense where you're like, do you get this? Because
it's pretty much charades. It's pretty much spirit charades, because and you're sitting there going, and my guides will show me things in like 80s movies I've seen, you know, like songs. They'll like make a song play in my head to understand something. And a lot of times I'll just hear spirit talk to me in my ear. Like when they'll give me diagnoses, even though I'm not really supposed to give that, they'll just say it right in my ear. It'll be like degenerative disc disease, whatever, you know, 4 or 5. And I'll be like, ooh, okay. And it's so cool though, when that happens, you know, like I started off that way, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Where they would give me specific diagnoses, and then eventually they stopped doing that, and they really went down to the root of what it is. And now they tell me what the feeling is, what caused that, the feelings or whatever was going on in that part of the body by feeling, by what they felt. And does that make sense?
It makes sense to me, because they go, they do the opposite, where they started with the feeling, and they still work this way, where for me it's like, it's in this part of the body or this chakra or whatever, and it has to do with this emotion, and you might have a physical symptom of physical experience, and you might feel it like this, and then they'll tell me like indigestion or back pain, or you know what tension or whatever it is, but they'll give me the feeling first, and then, or if it was like an injury and it wasn't emotionally based, then I get the feeling, but there's no, I get the physical feeling. Like you might feel it like this. So I feel like you've got an injury there. And so it just depends on what it is, but that I know exactly what you mean. Yes.
Yeah. So so, and for me, sometimes I'll just go, okay, just that. And then they'll just tell me, because you know, I kind of get it from all directions, however they can get that message to you, to get that across, whatever it is you need to tell the person, to help them to release it or whatever it is they need to do. Yeah. Okay, Adam, your turn.
I'm going to catch up. I mean, I know very similar. I mean, I get to experience a lot more. Sometimes they're not real clear when it comes to like exactly what it is, but I'll feel everything. And then as soon as I start describing it to everybody, or, you know, to the client, or, you know, if it's a gallery reading or whatever, you know, and then they're just like, yeah, you know, because a lot of times, I mean, I'll feel, I've been fortunate enough to feel a lot of like what happened, you know, as far as the deaths go, whether it was, you know, something they did to themselves, or was it, you know, something, you know, like whether it's a disease or something, you know, sudden. But yeah, I mean, the ones that get me, the ones I hate the suicide ones. Unfortunately, they're
now we were talking about living clients, but you're talking about dead people. Let's go with that.
Well, yeah, hey, but I guess it kind of relates, maybe.
It does. No, it does. It's the same difference as
people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's interesting because it does. Like I said, the tough ones are suicides, because when you start feeling that, and then when you start describing that to, you know, whether it was a relative or a friend or something like that, you know, that gets emotional real quick, because then when they know what it is and I don't know what it is, it gets, you know, it makes it interesting, but at the same time neat, you know, with the validation stuff.
Yeah,
for sure. Yep. Okay, so Jennifer wanted to hear more about what Debbie was talking about, what you guys are going to do. When are you going to air that and stuff?
Well, I mean, the hope right now, I mean, the hope was to do it we wanted to try it in a couple different locations, because we didn't want to always be in a, you know, so-called haunted location where, you know, there is other spirits there. We need to prove that we can kind of get the same reactions in like a general or neutral, you know, location. I mean, there's ideas of being like, you know, just going to a park and sitting on some picnic tables, you know, just to try it in completely in an open space for, you know, just where nature's around, and then just, you know, try it in a house, you know, and see what happens. That, you know, again, try to rule out so that way now we still get it even when it's not, you know, spiritually based. So that's kind of what we're hoping for, is we want to do a few other neat areas and then see if we get the same results. And if we do, you know, then we really want to start pushing it a little bit more and see, you know, where else we can take it, you know, then try to go like out of state, you know, and try it in different locations and just keep building on it each and every single time. So that way we, you know, can truly know for ourselves that we're onto something, and it's not just some fluke thing, which more than likely it's not, but it's just the point that, you know, being investigators, you know, you have to keep trying and debunk things and try to rule things out and prove things. And so that's all we're doing, is we're still trying to take what we normally do and then just incorporate it, so that way we really know we're onto something, just instead of just coming right out and being like, we're gung-ho and this is it. And then, you know, come to find out, you know, we get like let's say we are doing like a series of videos, you know, we'd hate to get in a couple more and be like, well, this is not working out anymore. It's just completely disasters, you know, every single time since we've decided to really do this. So we want to prove it a few more times in some general locations, and then take it back to some haunted locations and see what happens. And you know, because I'm curious too, is, you know, with it being like in a haunted location, does that magnify, does it bring the family member in more? What's all this stuff going on that we just don't know? That's neat.
Well, so is there and I'm of course thinking ahead. Have you thought about what if it becomes something successful that you can do regularly? Maybe sending videos to like Travel Channel or wherever, you know, what's the other one? TLC, any of those stations that have ghosty shows, and be like, here's a show idea. Hire us. Like, you know, oh my God, watch that every day.
Well, and Jennifer and I would love to come on anytime you'd like.
That's what I mean.
And Bonnie.
I mean, that's the thing, is a lot of the.
Thank you for volunteering me, because I totally would.
You're welcome.
Well, you know, you never know. I mean, you never know how it works. I know a little bit of how it works behind the scenes. I've applied for shows. I've interviewed for shows, you know, just to try. I mean, but it's not like, if it happens, okay. If it doesn't happen, that's okay too. It's not like, you know, devoting our entire life to it. It's, if all we do is make like YouTube videos, you know, for instance, I mean, if that's all it is, that's all it is. We're still going to be happy with what we're doing. We're still going to get enjoyment out of it. We're still going to hopefully bring more answers and just, you know, some more profound experiences that, you know, even the hardcore skeptics, which, you know, we are too, but just to show them, it's like, there's definitely something more. And this isn't your typical ghost hunt. You know, we're not wandering around room to room to room, but we're trying some things that, you know, not everybody's, you know, doing. You know, everybody wants that great, you know, photo or video or that great audio and stuff, but, you know, we're trying to do something just a tad different, and you know, still using all the same equipment that everybody else is using, but just in a different fashion.
But what you're proposing is so different from what's on TV, because on most shows, which is why I only watched this many, and Kathy was like, I'm out. It's all about the entertainment factor, and it's usually by being disrespectful, and it's just, there's this many shows that have actual healing heart to it, but not in the way that you guys are hoping to bring healing to there's nothing out there like that.
I think it'll be a neat blend of it, because it still will have an entertainment factor, because again, you know, the two we've done, I mean, when you're sitting there and you're watching all this equipment go nuts at the same time we're giving messages to the clients, that's insane, because like, you know, that's the stuff you're hoping for, is when you're doing an investigation, hopefully some of the gear backs up what we're, you know, seeing and hearing, and then to see it all in the same exact moment. Here, I'm telling you, this is what they're saying. And then meters are going off and everybody can't help but look at something because something's going off or showing something. And so, it's exciting. And, we're really kind of curious, and hopefully, problem is with COVID and everything, it's kind of really, it screwed this year bad, but what hasn't it hurt this year?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know though. I gotta say, there are so many people opening up right now, and it really has been absolutely an amazing year for me, because we can do the Zoom thing and we can get more information to more people, like what we're doing right now. So I see it as that, where we're able to touch other people's lives, where maybe they were freaked out in their home, they don't understand things. I want to tell people, there's just about everything can be cleared. We're light beings, and we can clear them or help relocate or send them to the light, whatever. And there's nothing that's too big that we can't do something with. And like, Adam was talking about earlier, sometimes we kind of have to band together. If it's something really rough and nasty, we've done that. We just did that recently. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And sometimes we know we just need kind of to lean on each other, or even for ourselves. And I want everybody out there to know, yeah, we're talking about dark and scary things, but guess what? We take care of those things with, with God, with the angels, with whoever we work with that walks in the light. So when we do these things, we're really, we pull off some really nasty stuff off people and out of places. And we just make sure we know how, because we've done it for a while, we know how to bring the light back in for ourselves, make sure that we're all cleansed and we're clear. We don't take anything back home. And everybody can do that, if they chose to. But I just don't want people to go into the fear base of being scared of those things, because we are light beings and we're stronger than they are, actually.
Yep.
So we do that.
That's
stuff.
the thing that I think is amazing, is that, as soon, we get so used to standing up tall and strong, and we're firm about things. And it's amazing that, when I do a lot of the paranormal stuff, I mean, these nasty little, whether it's guy or gal, I mean, they just think that they're going to walk right over me. And it's just like, no, I am very friendly. I'm very gentle in person, but like something like that's going to try to mess with me, please. I'm like, it ain't going to work. I mean, I've had them trying to, scratch at me and claw me. And I mean, I'm just like, that attitude that you have to have, because as soon as you give into fear, you just open a door that if you're not protecting yourself, there's a good chance something's going to happen. It might not necessarily be an attachment, but you could be in a position to where, messes you up, takes you down for a couple of days because you're sick. They zap your energy. I mean, there's just a number of things that it varies person to person, but you just can't do this. And that's why it's always good to get with people that, can help you along, get you trained up and get you through, and even take you on experiences, because then when you're working with somebody side by side, if something starts to happen, you can lean in and kind of blanket them, with some light. I got you. I got you.
Yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that, because I don't want people to be in fear. And a lot of people think that, like, what they see in the horror movies, you see the exorcisms and the heads don't turn in circles. I mean, usually, but I've been up against some nasty things. One of the first things that happened to me, and I had been through my medical intuitive training, thank God, because that's really how I learned what to do in that case. And they didn't show me this stuff until I would never believed it until I was, I had seen it. So I'll just put it this way, but I learned how to do, like what to kind of do. And it was so funny, because I was doing Reiki on a lady, and it's like I set my energy into her, and this thing popped out, came right at me. And I was like, whoa, sizzle my energy. I remembered, I'm like, oh, I did it. And I just went, whoa. And then I went, oh my God, what did I just do? And then another one came out, like 3 of them.
Oh, wow.
Right.
We needed you. My God.
Wow. Yes. And so, like, those things, but it didn't happen until I was ready. I'm so thankful for it. And I knew what to do. I knew what to do by then. apparently it was like I had no idea, or I didn't even think at the time that I would be doing spiritual attachment removals for people, but apparently somebody had a different story in mind for me.
Yeah, it's called you. It's called your higher self.
Well, and it's interesting is, I mean, that we brought it, I think it was Jennifer that brought it up early on or something, but yeah, it's interesting about the whole idea of, and it was with Debbie, but you know, when things come into you, like, I mean, when I started off, all I wanted to do was mediumship. That's it. That's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to be able to, you know, talk to the spirits, help the families out, you know, give them some peace and closure and things like that. And then, you know, then when I started doing that, because it, you know, stemmed off of watching them on paranormal shows, and I'm like, oh, that'd be kind of cool. So I opened up that door to go into the paranormal world, that then, you know, find out what's haunting this location. Is it friendly? Is it nasty? You know, what is it? And so
Right.
after I did that and got comfortable with it, then another door opened up. So I started doing, you know, I was trained in remote viewing, but I just didn't use it for paranormal because wasn't really something that it was like known for when I learned it. It was just the, you know, if you needed to use it for a couple different reasons. And then, so I just thought, well, why can't I use it for this? And so I tried it and it started working. I started, like I told you earlier, I started building it up more and more and finally started using it full time. I'm like, well, this is cool. And then I started getting into the tarot, but it is weird is that the tarot and slash oracle, I guess I didn't say it at the beginning, where I could take the tarot cards and still kind of do the oracle readings off of the tarot cards.
Yep.
So, but I also still have oracle cards that most of the time I'll probably whip those out more than I'll bring the tarot, because I've been more connected to my oracle deck than the tarot ones. But I learned in the tarot, but just in a weird, unique way. And then there was a couple other things I want to get into that are just calling me. So that's more doors that are going to open up, and help Debbie with the missing. So that's another door. So I keep walking down this long hallway and I just keep opening doors.
There you go.
But you're just expanding yourself every time. And that's the cool thing. They call it our spiritual tool belt. And it's like the medical intuitive thing led me into the shamanic part of it. And I realized after I did the medical intuitive classes, Spirit was telling me, I had people coming to me and talking to me about shamanism and then this and that. And then I kept hearing shaman, you know, but I felt like I couldn't call myself that.
Yeah.
But,
Yep.
it's what I really am. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it is what it is. And it's just amazing. And so you learn little bits. And then I realized more of the medical intuitive was really basic shamanism techniques.
Yep.
So then I was like, mind blown. You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, well, I guess that's what I am. What are we really? We're all so unique, and it's so cool and that's been really fun because I've started to teach people kind of my version of what I do. And the cool thing is it's so exciting to see the differences in all the different people that are coming in and all their gifts and abilities. Some of them may have a problem. It's been really interesting because so many people don't, and I didn't for a long time, trust your own instincts. They don't believe that what they're getting is psychic information, but we're all psychic. Every single person on this earth is psychic. They just choose not to believe it or not. And I chose to not. I had no clue basically all my life that I was seeing myself die in other lifetimes when I was like 13, 12 years old, and probably way before that. And I just don't remember it or didn't realize it. But I could see these things and I just went, oh, that's a cool imagination, whatever, you know? And so that's the cool thing is everybody has such unique gifts. And that's what makes it so much fun is to see what the next person's going to do, because so many are awakening right now. Just all of a sudden. So amazing, especially like I said, the kids I've been working with have been just absolutely amazing lately. And
cool.
So gifted and open, and it's like, whoa, I cannot wait to see what they do with all of the gifts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I call them gifts, abilities, whatever.
I say gifts too occasionally, and then I say abilities, and I just say, you know, woohoo. You know, so.
Gift is just such a common word, like that's what people are familiar with.
Yeah.
Because most people don't think of them as things that A, everyone is capable of, or B, that you weren't given, you gave it to yourself. really, before you incarnated. But because everybody knows that word, I think it's fine to use. They know.
Well, and have you ever come across the people that don't like to be called a medium? So they want to be called like the clairvoyant, clairsendent, clairaudient. I mean, and it's like, and that's all they will use. They will only call themselves by that. They hate the word medium. I'm like, yeah, but that's a general term that even the common public knows. I mean, yeah, they might not know, but when you say clairaudient, and they're like, what is that? And then you got to go into it, and then they're like, oh, that's a medium.
Yeah, but to me, medium is specific for me, because when I hear medium, and this is probably not accurate, but when I think of medium, I think of someone who communicates with people who crossed over. Yeah. I think of psychic as someone who can also get other information, and you know, like it's, you know, slightly more broad term.
Yes.
But I know a lot of people that don't like to be called psychic, and I get it, because there has been a taboo, and you got the charlatans that really, you know, give everybody else a bad name, and you know, like the ones with the neon signs that, you know, are totally fake and charge you upwards of, you know, hundreds of dollars, telling you, if you pay me $1,000, I'll clear your root chakra for you, or whatever it is. But, you know, I want to move away from psychic because of jerks like that. But medium, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what,
I liked
Adam? Oh, sorry. I was gonna say, I always wanted to be a medium. I would watch I read, like, actually I started doing this stuff and reading about it when I was a young kid, because I was reading Sylvia Browne books when I was a young teenager, all that kind of stuff. And I thought it was so cool. I'm like, I want to be like her. And I was like, I want to see dead people. Never could see them with my eyeballs, and thought, oh, I'll never have any gifts. But guess what? You can see them in your head, in your third eye, which is like a little movie inside your head. Geez, I can see all kinds of stuff in there. But now I'm starting to get to the point where I'm starting to see more and more stuff with my eyeballs, the more that I open up. Yeah. So that's kind of cool. But I don't want people to think it's just all in this little box, because it's not. Like I thought, oh, I couldn't be a medium. Well, guess what? We all can be, but I am in the fact that I could see like a picture of them in my head, and then they talk to me. You know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Me, I tend to not go into, like, I don't do mediumship stuff for like an hour. They'll give me like short, sweet little messages, bada bing, bada boom, and then move on to something else. And I tend to do more of unless if it's somebody that really needs it, and like it depends on what that person needs, and that's that they need to hear sorry from somebody, or they need to hear something, you know, specific from somebody. Other than that, but me on the mediumship part, because there's so many different things. Me on the mediumship part is spirit telling me in my ear what's going on with their body or something like that. More of the time, yeah. But I always wanted to be the typical medium too. Always wanted that. Didn't happen quite that way, but I guess I got it.
Yeah. Yeah, because I watch the TV shows and just feel like it'd be so cool. And then you start seeing the dead people in your bedroom or in your dream, and you're like, you know, maybe. But I don't know. For me, I never lost it as many times as I've had, you know, been scared witless. Once it started happening and I knew what was happening, because, you know, when you're a kid and you hear voices, it doesn't, like, you're like, I just dreamt that, right? Like, I just dreamt that. And then you get older and you go, oh, and then it just gets weirder and bigger and weirder and bigger, and it's so cool. But I never ever, like you, Kathy, you never think one day I'm going to be a channel and I'm going to talk to angels and aliens and masters and dead people and you name it, and do energy. You covet it, you think it's really fascinating, but you never think it's you until the one day the weird shit goes down and you're like, oh, look at that.
Yeah, it seems like just yesterday I was like wandering around New Moon, the store that was in Kalamazoo, going, I don't know what I'm supposed to be looking for, but I'm supposed to be here. I don't know what I'm doing. And then the next minute, like a year later, I'm like doing readings on people and doing all kinds of stuff. It's amazing how fast it happens. And well, for me, it was a super fast thing.
Yes.
But you know, it was funny because Bonnie told me she was channeling a message for me a couple weeks ago, and she said that she goes, you know, your guides are telling me that you were supposed to do this in your 20s, and you went, mm-mm. I was raising my kids. My kids were little, you know what I mean? And I was playing ball, and I was just having fun and goofing off and working. And I must have been like, so then what happened is, since I didn't do it then, I had to do the super fast track in like a year or two, basically a year. Woo! And then I chose the more difficult, shorter path.
That's funny. I don't know if I was supposed to do it sooner, but I, like you, everything got super weird and it started in like 2010, but I didn't know what was going on. Mm-hmm. But then once I figured out what was going on in 2013, it was like, boom. And then in like a year, I'm learning energy healing, and I've got somebody talking out of my face.
Oh. Yeah. I mean, I had to do the math because I was trying to remember like how old I was when I started. Cause I mean, you know, I still considered myself a late bloomer, and I was doing the math at the beginning of the show. I'm like, what, how old was it? And I realized I was 29 when I started this, which was only 2005. So, I mean, I still feel like I'm the new guy on the block, you know, kind of thing, you know, in a way, you know, but that's the interesting thing about it. You really, you don't realize where the time goes, but I mean, you know, I think when I was on before, I talked about the fact that I didn't, now I forgot where the hell I was going. Damn it. I did it again. Hey, when I was, you know, what happened was this message came up, and I started reading a message from somebody, and I'm like, oh, that threw me off. It's okay.
You want me to read it?
I just remember that it was just difficult, you know, trying to, I spent so much time before I really mentioned it to people. I mean, I spent 7 years before I did anything, and all I was doing was just meditating, talking to my guides, practicing some healing, you know, and that was it. I didn't do it on anybody. I didn't talk to anybody about it. And it wasn't until I got into the paranormal in 2012 was when then it, unleashed. And then I got under, you know, the team I'm on, you know, their medium. I started working with her first. And so that opened me up that door. And because I was, you know, convinced, because I know we all have choices. And that was my thing that she made sure, it's like, are you sure you want to open that door? Because, you know, there's a lot that's beyond that door. I mean, you know, there's some good stuff and there's some bad stuff. So you have to be ready for both. And, but I realized because of the 7 years I spent practicing and making sure I was always protected and had everything going on, that I knew I was ready and it felt right, you know? And so then I opened that door, and, you know, I was ready to go, and, you know, had people around me, and then, you know, got introduced to others like Debbie. And so, yeah, it's been a fun ride, but God, I would have loved to have been able to do this like in my early 20s, not the very end. So.
You know, I think sometimes it's you needed the life lessons to be able to help others. You know what I mean? And I think that that's the case for me. Like I probably would have been pretty hot-headed back then. Like, yeah, a little bit. What
do they say? You know, as we get older, we get a little bit smarter and wiser about things. And so
speaking of that, I want to read this. So Victor says, Jennifer is an elf, Adam's a sorcerer, Kathleen is a human. I'm a skeptic, and this is all entertaining bullshit. Okay.
And I'm glad you're entertained, because even if you think it's bullshit, if you're entertained, we've done our job. So that's right. Good. And he nailed it with an elf. The number of times I have been called a fairy or an elf is countless, like numerous. Especially like, oh, you look like Arwen. I'm like, I fucking wish I did, but thank you. It's just the hair and the fair skin that's the similarity. But I'm
kind of bummed. Why do I have to be the human?
Because you're the shaman, and shamans are typically human. I don't know. But I do resonate with elf and fairy, especially which Lord of the Rings and the Tua de Danann.
Right.
And And actually, I think that may be kind of on point with the sorcerer for you,
Oh.
Adam.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
it is getting better. I mean, I'm working in, I'm, keeping it clean and,
Even the hair, you've got like the hair, like you're like only because your hair is straighter, you're a bit
Right.
like Saruman before
Yeah,
he turned like white. And
Maybe when you're like a couple hundred years old, you could be oh crap, I just forgot his name from Harry Potter. What's the
Dumbledore.
Dumbledore. You could be Dumbledore in the future.
yeah.
You're too young. You're too young.
I know. I gotta get this. I mean, the only white and gray is up here still. It's not too much through the rest of it. So I mean,
Yeah.
I figured, I'm getting close to that Santa Claus phase. I mean, it's getting there. Yeah.
No, you gotta go more Gandalf, Dumbledore,
Oh, yeah.
Saruman. Stick in that realm.
Yeah.
That's,
I don't know, but
I mean, I'm
but
working
don't
it.
prematurely age yourself though with the gray hair.
I know.
Yeah. You do
And
need to
Jody-
work with your staff.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
Jody says, "Good evening. Hi, good to see you all. Hi, Jody."
Hi, Jody.
yeah. That's
Well, I guess
fun.
it's 7:45. Maybe we should get off
Been
here.
on for like 2 hours at least. So
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us tonight. We had a lot of fun. Miss Bonnie, and we will have
Bonnie.
Adam and Debbie back on again. Yes, because we have entirely way too much fun. Ooh, maybe you'll let us like sit in on some of the stuff that you're doing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Or at least
well,
like play video clips for us.
Yeah. I mean, that's the plan is hopefully we'll get some more things once we can kind of get together and we don't have to feel like we're like having to like really, I mean, the idea is to be a little bit more intimate, but obviously we're not sitting on top of each other, but Debbie and I would be, next to each other, the clients on the other side of the table and stuff. So we want to still keep it intimate, but we don't want to, jeopardize anything until we feel like things are a little bit better, but at least we can get things planned out and ready to go. And, we gotta, we can get a few scheduled at least and know as soon as we can kind of be mingling and not worry so much, then we'll start going and make it work.
I have a couple ideas. I don't think I could say them on here, but maybe
Okay.
in the I'm gonna have to check on something, see if I can do
Okay.
it. I have a place that's by me. If they would let me do it, that would be freaking awesome.
We could do that.
I'm gonna check into it. I have
We
a
can do
couple
it.
places. There's a couple places that I know of that would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
All right,
All right.
sounds good to me.
Do you want to tell everybody again how to get a hold of you guys? Beyond the
Yes. Yeah,
Mhm.
so you can read, if you want to check out Debbie and my, our show, Debbie and it's Beyond the Silence Radio. So you just find that on Facebook. We're on tomorrow night. It's usually 7 p.m. runs for about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes. And, we do topics, guests and things like that, but just look up Beyond the Silence Radio. That's the best way to get a hold of us there. And then Debbie, doesn't have any personal pages other than her own legit personal Facebook page. But I have a Medium page. So if you look up Adam the Black Swamp Medium, you can always reach me there. Got questions or things like that. And then no websites yet. We were working on stuff and we keep changing things around in different scenarios and stuff. So right now Facebook's just the easiest way to go for a lot of our things. So but yeah, that's pretty much our thing.
Okay. Hey, Jennifer, did you want to talk about your website or anything like that at the end too?
Sure, and we
For your
can put
information?
them in the comments because, we suck at that, but we need to start posting links in the comments.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can find me at www.angelenergyhealing.net or on Facebook at Jennifer Passavant, intuitive spiritual life coach, and I don't remember what the rest of it is, but you'll find it.
And you can find me at healingwithmedicalintuition.com. You can schedule your own appointments on there, which is awesome now. I love that. And you can also find me on Facebook at Healing with Medical Intuition. So, all right. Signing off. Love y'all. Have an
Thank you.
amazing
Thank you.
night. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.